So 2024 was a huge year for music production tech. We saw major improvements in everything from DAWs to plugins, microphones, audio interfaces, speakers, headphones, and even computers. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the best new gear of the year from each category. To qualify for this list, it needs to be something that dropped between January and December for 2024, and it also needs to be something that stands out for having excellent sound quality, price value, performance, workflow, or convenience. Basically, things that I'll be using heavily for 2025. Let's begin our list with some DAW updates that really stood out to me this year. Ableton has been my primary DAW since 2015, which means I've been using it almost every day for the past 10 years. After using the new 12.1 update for a few months, I've definitely discovered a few new features that I can't live without. First is AutoShift, their stock vocal pitch correction plugin that combines the power of Auto-Tune, Little Alter Boy, and LFO modulation. It sounds really impressive for a stock plugin, and I even did a whole AutoShift tutorial and sound quality comparison versus Auto-Tune Pro, which I'll link in the description below. Another new Ableton 12 feature that I use a lot is the Roar Distortion. This lets you blend multiple saturation styles for parallel processing in any sound to create your own disrespectful distortions. Other useful Ableton improvements include plugin icons that indicate your VST2, VST3, and AU plugins, a new and improved limiter, and a new instrument called Meld that combines subtractive, FM, and granular synthesis in one instrument. And with Ableton being my most used software of the year, of course Ableton 12.1 has to be my first thing on the list. Next, Studio One also received huge updates this fall with Studio One Pro 7. My favorite and most frequently used new feature is the new Splice integration directly in the browser. Not only do you have Splice's entire royalty-free sample catalog at your fingertips without leaving your DAW, but you can also browse and preview all of your search results pre-pitch shifted and time stretched to match your project's tempo and key as you preview the sounds. And if you don't know what to search for, you can even drag and drop your entire work in progress into the Splice search and have it suggest samples that might work in your project. Plus AI stem separation, an improved drum sampler in the MIDI editing tab, new arrangement shortcuts, and more. Watch my full video breakdown on Studio One Pro 7 in the description below. Anybody who's curious enough to look back and see what my oldest uploads look like on my channel will see that I actually used to be a full-time Logic user since version 9 back between 2010 and 2015. It really is one of the most powerful DAWs for engineering, songwriting, and producing, but what ultimately led me to switch back in the day was no plugin search bar. Fast forward almost 10 years of waiting, and finally, Logic Pro 11.1 has a long-awaited plugin search bar. Just type in the name, developer, or category of any plugin you could think of in your collection, and it appears as quickly as you can type it in. Logic Pro 11.1 also features two new reverb plugins called Chromaverb and an emulation of the classic Quantec reverb, which both sound way better than the older stock reverbs in my opinion. Plus a new distortion plugin called ChromaGlow, which gives you every type of saturation imaginable and a beautiful user interface like all the other Logic plugins. Considering Logic is only $1.99 and you get free updates for life, this DAW truly is an amazing value. One last honorable mention in the DAWs category for 2024 is Windows support for Luna. Luna's been available for free for Mac since 2020, but in September of 2024, they announced full compatibility for Windows PC users, which makes this my #1 recommendation for a free DAW that you can install on your computer. I helped film Karra's recent Luna tutorial on YouTube, which uses a budget-friendly mic and interface, 100% free plugins, and Luna to record and mix a professional-sounding rap vocal. Watch Karra's full Luna tutorial with free plugins and download the template in my links below. That's enough for DAWs. Let's move on to one of my favorite categories, plugins. I narrowed it down to just the things that I use and have really improved my workflow or sonics for mixing and mastering. It's been a long time since I've seen a reverb or delay plugin that's felt like something creative and clever, but these new plugins by Linear Sounds are exactly that. This is Blurred, a bi-directional reverb that makes it really easy to create reverse reverb swells and tails with any sound. It literally looks ahead of your incoming audio to produce reverse reverb leading up into your sound with latency compensation built in. And the best feature is the plugin is always recording and resampling your audio in the background, so at any time you can drag and drop the reverb tail you just heard onto your timeline to further edit as audio. Let's hear Blurred in action.
Bum, 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 bum.
They've also dropped an equivalent delay plugin called Blurred Delay, which offers those same features but with echoes and delays. Let's take a listen.
I see the end unfolding. I know the story goes. The promises are breaking, and it feels like you're ghosting now. The feel of my empty cup to break it and spill it on me. Guess I keep falling for things I can't cut.
Visit linearsounds.com for more. This next plugin dropped during the final weeks of 2024, but quickly became a must-have for every producer, engineer, and artist. This is a plugin you could use on literally any track in your session for mixing or mastering, and it just got upgraded, updated, and redesigned to look better than ever. I'm talking about the brand new FabFilter Pro Q4. Now, there's a ton of hidden features in this plugin, and I'll be making a dedicated video as I get more familiar and discover some hidden gems to show you guys. But here's the main updates. This plugin now has improved graphics to help you navigate and visualize your curves, spectral mode, which makes this plugin almost behave like Soothe, freehand curve drawing to sketch creative EQ ideas in a single click and drag, access to all instances of Pro Q4 within a single window, auto clashing frequency detection, new warm and subtle algorithms for a whole new tone of EQ, and so much more. I have a good feeling this is going to be my most used plugin of 2025, so that makes it an easy pick for my Gear of the Year list. Next, this plugin is something that I consider a high-end distortion plugin. Not only is the sound quality beyond that of any stock saturation plugin, but the user interface and 4 different presets make it my go-to for mixing virtual instruments to feel more warm and analog. Alkane by Kalifornia Dynamic gives you 4 different flavors of analog-inspired distortion for tube, tape, transformer, and synth saturation. I think it works particularly well on drums and bass because of how well it retains your transients instead of completely clipping your dynamics. Plus, you can customize your tone with the filtering and EQ settings or mix percentage. Let's hear it in action on this beat I'm working on. Bypass. And Alkane. This is easily one of the best new distortion plugins that dropped in the past year. And right now you can use my personal promo code to get $100 off Alkane by typing in my promo code Stefan100 off Alkane only at californiadynamic.com. When it comes to mastering, T-Rax by IK Multimedia has some of the best looking and best sounding plugins in the game. T-Rax 6 features 8 brand new modules like Master Match X and Channel Strip X for super beginner friendly genre based presets with reference matching and simple macro controls. Bass 1, Pusher, and Lo-Fi Punch to control your low end and loudness, plus Delay Lab and Dual Spring for next level spatial effects in your mix. And of course, I've been using the classic T-Rax 1 plugin on so many of my masters in the past few years. Let's hear our song before and after T-Rax 6. Bypass. And master. Visit IK Multimedia to learn more. My final plugin on my best of the year list is a drums bus processing plugin by one of the best mixing engineers in the game. It's a follow-up to one of the most used all-in-one master chains called God Particle by Jaycen Joshua. I'm talking about the new Orion plugin by Cradle Audio. This plugin goes on your drums group to glue your kick, snare, and percussions together like a pro. They suggest leaving your 808 out of the group so that it's just your drums and transient material getting processed. Let's take a listen and adjust some of the controls. Hey, without it. And Orion. Now let's bring the vocals back in. Bypass. And Orion. And that's just the default preset. As you can see, you can completely dive in and customize your harmonics, compression, clipping, EQ curves, even add in some sub, low, loudness, and grit. Let's take a listen.
Little push, tell me if you're pulling up alright. Yeah, I push it, push it. Pull a little taste of mine. Only if you got an appetite. Yeah, I push it, push it. Pull a
Dang, that is loud. Output down just a little bit to make up for the increase in gain.
You know just what I want. I know you got the body.
And one more with and without.
Turn me on.
Bypass.
I'm on my way. Already
And Orion.
synchronized. Don't gotta say it, baby. Live for it, do or die. I'm on my way.
Get Orion now at Cradle.app. That's enough plugins for now. Let's move outside the box to something that helps you plug in everything to your computer. I'm talking about audio interfaces. And to make things simple, I've picked my favorite new budget-friendly audio interface and my favorite new top-of-the-line interface. For the lower budget producers and artists who are investing in their first professional quality audio interface, the new Presonus Quantum series offer a very impressive audio quality and value for the price. The Quantum ES interfaces are the most affordable options, and the Quantum HD series are the more professional but still very competitively priced. I did a full sound quality breakdown and comparison of all 4 Quantum interfaces in my full review video linked below, but the main thing that makes these special is the 32-bit converters that allow you to record without any risk of accidentally clipping your input audio, and the universal control app to route your signal or even set up a loopback for live streaming OBS Zoom calls or tutorials like this. Learn more about Presonus Quantum in my review video linked below. For songwriters, producers, and engineers who want a top quality audio interface that features built-in auto-tune plus hundreds of other legendary plugins for a perfect low latency headphone mix at all times, no matter what, there's only one option on the market that offers all of those things, and that's the Apollo X by Universal Audio. This past fall, they upgraded the Apollo X lineup with new and improved analog to digital converters that help both your inputs and outputs sound better than ever. They've also updated the included console app with some major new features like auto gain, headphone and speaker correction with SonarWorks, and multi-monitor control that supports subwoofers and full Dolby Atmos setups. Plus a new native U80 Spark plugin called Top Line Vocal Suite to tune and mix all of your vocals in one insert. I did an entire deep dive and sound quality comparison between the new and old Apollo, plus all the new sauce in console, so if you haven't seen it or heard it yet, I'll include a link to that in the description below. Plus a vocal session by Karra with a song recorded entirely in an Apollo X Twin Generation 2. Let's move on to new headphones that dropped during 2024 that I'll be using heavily throughout 2025. First, we have some legendary studio headphones by Beyerdynamics. These have been widely regarded as one of the best sounding, high quality studio reference headphones you can get. And in 2024, they've been updated to the new Mark II versions. I'm talking about the new DT1770 Pro Mark II and DT1990 Pro Mark II. The 1770s are their most popular closed back model, and the 1990s are their most popular open backs. I never got to try the first generation headphones, but a lot of the upgrades and sound quality tweaks in Mark II were based on actual customer feedback. They've added all new sound drivers called Tesla 45 that produce a nice, even, pleasing frequency response across the entire spectrum. And when I first heard them, I knew right away that these would definitely meet all of my needs as a music and video content producer. Upon my first impression, I liked the sound quality of the open backs slightly better, but after having them both in my studio for a few months, I've definitely put more hours and use on the closed back 1770 Pros. This is simply because I need that extra isolation from outside noise and also avoiding microphone bleed while I record. But technically the open backs did sound slightly better to my ears. If you want to watch my full review video, check out my Beyerdynamic links in the description below. So those are my new favorite headphones for the year. Next, let's talk about studio monitors. I was recently looking for a pair of desktop monitors that I could use here on my sit-stand desk. I primarily use the space for long video editing sessions, replying to emails, or any other non-creative kind of stuff, and I want speakers that remind me of those good old days of having small, simple computer speakers without all the extra cables and hassles of an audio interface in the middle. Introducing the Atom D3v desktop studio monitors. These 3.5-inch speakers might look clean, but they pack a dirty and disrespectful punch. I prefer to connect them with USB-C straight to my Mac to use the built-in converters and interface that sound phenomenal. And of course, you can connect them through your own audio interface using 1/4-inch inputs, but I think the convenience of a USB-C cable is what makes these really special. For just $299 per pair, I'd say these are a perfect choice for any small setup or secondary pair in a larger studio setup like mine, where it's beneficial to have multiple different listening speakers to check my work. Visit my Guitar Center link in the description below to learn more about the Atom D3v speakers. The next category on my roundup is microphones. 2024 was a big year for budget-friendly mics, and I've narrowed it down to my top 2 and provided some reasons as to why. First is the new Shure SM4. This is a studio condenser mic that features a perfect frequency response for finished sounding quality right out of the box. It has an impressively high SPL tolerance and an impressively low noise floor. Plus, you get an extra clean signal with the SM4's built-in RF interference rejection, which helps when recording around other electronic devices. With its compact size and huge sound quality, this mic has endless versatility and usability for any vocals or instruments. Considering how good it sounds right out of the box and its budget-friendly price of $279, I think the SM4 is a sweet recommendation for any producer, artist, or engineer.
I don't wanna die alone.
Let's hear some vocals recorded with Shure SM4.
Leave me on my own. I don't wanna be without you.
And these are the plugins we're mixing it with. Okay, so this next mic adds not 1, but 2 next level features that you won't find in any other studio condenser mic. This is the Lewitt Ray. It's called Ray because it uses an infrared laser to detect how far you are from the microphone. It uses that data to intelligently adjust the tone of your mic, effectively negating the proximity effect entirely. This means that you get smooth and consistent tone and EQ response at any distance. This gives your vocalist way more freedom to move around while they perform, or makes a perfect mic for podcasting and broadcasting. And to make it even more perfect for that, they've added a mute button so you can cut off the mic if you sneeze, cough, or need to adjust the stand in the middle of a live stream. And just like the Shure SM4, it includes a pop filter and shock mount to avoid any extra noise from getting into the mic. On the front, you have a Ray button that enables or disables the proximity measuring, and if you hold it, you can set an auto mute distance. This has the mic automatically mute when you walk away or just move back a certain amount. Now that's next level. Finally, we've reached the last category, which is computers. And for the past month, I've been testing 2 new computers that just released in fall 2024. One of them is a maxed out monster for professionals with a bigger budget, and the other is an economic entry-level option that gets you off to a great start in your creative career. First, let's begin with the best producer laptop in the game, the M4 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch. Mine is in the sleek, dark, new space gray color. And when I say this thing is faster than my old M1 Max MacBook Pro, I don't mean just a little bit, I mean up to 40% faster. Every music production and video production app performs slightly differently from one another, but for the programs I primarily use like Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic, DaVinci Resolve, ScreenFlow, everything just runs impressively fast compared to the speeds I was used to getting on my old M1. This one is maxed out with every option, and so was my previous laptop, so it should be a fair comparison when I drop my upcoming MacBook Pro M4 Max in-depth review for music producers. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and enable notifications to be the first to see it when it drops, because I'm going to measure on camera the improvements in speaker quality, mic quality, screen quality, camera quality, and of course, CPU stress tests and export times. And yes, I know MacBook Pros can become very expensive, especially when you spec them out with all the extra options, so this next computer on my list packs the most impressive bang for the buck, starting at just $699. I'm talking talking about the brand new M4 Mac Mini. And just to give you an idea of how mini this thing is, here's the new computer on top of my old desktop computer. Here's the Mac Mini next to a Shure SM58, just for scale. Yeah, this thing is mini. But don't let the small size fool you, because performance-wise, it's almost on par with my M1 Max MacBook Pro that I've been using as my main daily driver for the past 3 years. Now that's crazy. Obviously, you still need to purchase your own mouse, keyboard, HDMI monitor, and external hard drive, but many of you probably have some, if not all of those things already lying around. So I'm also going to be making a full review video with stress tests and comparisons, but after 1 full month of using this as my secondary computer, I haven't found one session or project that the new M4 Mac Mini couldn't handle with ease. Obviously, you could duplicate plugins and create an unrealistically large project to get the CPU to choke up eventually, and we're going to do that in all my videos. But as for real world day-to-day projects, the M4 Mac Mini can do it all. My M4 Apple computer reviews are going to be some of my very next uploads on this channel, so stay tuned and comment below how you want me to put them to the test in my videos. So there you have it, the best gear of the year from 2024 that I'll be using throughout 2025. If you want to learn more about any of the products, plugins, software, or tools that I mentioned in today's gear of the year, check out all the links in the description below, and I'll catch you next time in another video.